Happiness and success, two words often placed at opposite ends of the journey. One is imagined as a reward at the finish line, while the other is dismissed as a fleeting state, irrelevant until victory is claimed. Most people live under the illusion that happiness is something they can afford only after they achieve everything they desire. They postpone joy, sacrifice peace of mind, and deny themselves fulfillment in the name of chasing success. But what if this belief is the very reason why so many never reach true success? Think about it. If you are miserable while working, if every day feels like a burden, if your efforts are driven only by fear, scarcity, or dissatisfaction, then you are carrying unnecessary weight on your shoulders. You are slowing yourself down, draining your energy, and poisoning your focus. In such a state, success does not feel like a destination you are moving toward. It becomes a mirage that always pulls farther away the closer you think you get. The truth is simple, yet often ignored. Happiness is not the enemy of ambition. Happiness is the fuel of ambition. It is not something to be delayed until the future. It is something to cultivate now, in the very moment you are working for your goals. Those who understand this principle discover a secret advantage. They do not burn out. They do not give up easily, and they do not crumble under the weight of setbacks. Why? Because they are not waiting for happiness. They are already living in it. Happiness does not mean laziness. It does not mean pretending everything is perfect when challenges exist. It does not mean abandoning goals or ignoring problems. Instead, happiness is an inner training. It is the ability to align your mind with gratitude, strength, and perspective while you are still in the process of striving. It is choosing to enjoy the climb instead of resenting the mountain. It is teaching your emotions to support your journey instead of working against it. Imagine two people starting on the same path toward success. One is constantly stressed, constantly dissatisfied, constantly telling themselves that they will finally smile when the prize is in their hands. The other chooses to celebrate small progress, to find joy in discipline, to create satisfaction in each step. Both may work equally hard, but their experiences and their results are not the same. The one who embraces happiness along the way gains resilience, clarity, and energy. The one who postpones happiness struggles under the heavy burden of self-imposed suffering. When happiness becomes a practice, work stops being punishment. It transforms into purpose. The long hours no longer feel like a prison but an investment. The challenges no longer feel like punishments but opportunities for growth. And most importantly, success no longer feels like a desperate escape from unhappiness, but a natural extension of a life already filled with joy. The tragedy of waiting for happiness is that it turns life into a series of delays. I'll be happy when I get the promotion. I'll be happy when I make more money. I'll be happy when the business succeeds. This mindset ensures that happiness is always just beyond reach. And when one goal is reached, another condition replaces it, pushing happiness further away again. That cycle never ends. It is an endless chase, with no rest and no reward. But those who train themselves to be happy while they work for success break that cycle. They experience life fully, here and now. Their work is infused with meaning instead of misery. They become more creative because happiness frees the mind from unnecessary stress. They become more productive because joy sharpens focus and increases motivation. They become more magnetic because people are drawn to those who radiate positivity and strength. The lesson is clear. Happiness is not a luxury you earn after success. Happiness is a discipline you must practice on the path to success. It is not a prize at the end. It is the fuel you need to keep moving forward. And the more you train yourself to live in that state of happiness, the stronger, faster, and more fulfilled your journey will become. So ask yourself, are you postponing happiness until tomorrow? Or are you ready to cultivate it today, even as you push forward toward your goals? Because the way you answer this question will determine not only how far you go, but also how much you truly enjoy the journey. Most people define success only by external achievements: wealth, recognition, status, possessions, or power. This narrow definition creates a dangerous trap. It makes success a finish line, a single moment, a distant point where happiness is supposedly waiting. Until then, life feels incomplete, frustrating, and unsatisfying. But real success is never just about the outcome. It is about the process, the person you become, and the strength you build along the way. When you attach happiness only to an external reward, you become a prisoner of circumstances. You are happy if things go right and miserable if they don't. You are at the mercy of events you cannot fully control. But if success is redefined as growth, progress, and fulfillment in daily effort, then happiness becomes available right now. It is no longer something outside your reach. It is something you can create from within, regardless of where you stand in your journey. This is where many misunderstand the relationship between success and happiness. Success is not what produces happiness. Happiness produces success. A mind trained to find joy in learning, in effort, in resilience, and in persistence is a mind that becomes unstoppable. It does not collapse under stress because it knows how to create balance. It does not surrender to fear because it knows how to cultivate gratitude. It does not wait for external validation because it already carries inner fulfillment. Redefining success in this way shifts the entire game. Suddenly, each day becomes meaningful. Each step becomes worthy of celebration. Each challenge becomes part of the victory, not an obstacle to it. You begin to realize that success is not about a single event. It is about the continuous state of becoming, growing, and contributing. True success, then, is not measured only by what you accumulate, but by how you live while you are accumulating it. It is not measured only by how high you rise, but by how deeply you are fulfilled while climbing. When you accept this definition, happiness no longer competes with success. It becomes the very proof that you are already successful in the present moment, even as you work toward greater heights. Every external victory begins with inner mastery. Too often, people focus only on strategies, techniques, and external actions, while ignoring the foundation that drives everything, what happens inside the mind and heart. Without inner training, no amount of external effort can create lasting success. Happiness is not a random gift, nor is it dependent on perfect conditions. It is a discipline, a skill, and a choice that must be practiced every day. Just as you train your body to become stronger, you must train your mind to embrace gratitude, optimism, and perspective. Without that training, life feels like a constant uphill battle. With it, the same journey transforms into a path of growth and fulfillment. Inner training begins with awareness. Most people drift through life on autopilot, unaware of their negative thoughts, destructive habits, and limiting beliefs. They allow frustration to control their emotions, fear to dictate their actions, and doubt to paralyze their decisions. Training yourself to be happy means breaking this cycle. It means becoming conscious of the thoughts you allow to dominate your mind. It means replacing destructive patterns with empowering ones. The strongest individuals are not those who face no challenges. They are those who have mastered how to remain stable, positive, and focused while challenges surround them. They do not crumble when adversity arrives because they have already trained themselves to create inner peace regardless of external storms. This is what gives them resilience. This is what makes them unstoppable. Think of happiness as mental fitness. Just as muscles require repeated exercise to grow, happiness requires repeated practice to strengthen. Gratitude, optimism, focus, and self-belief must be exercised daily. Each time you practice them, you build inner strength. Each time you neglect them, your inner foundation weakens. The choice is yours. Train consistently, and happiness becomes natural even in the hardest times. Ignore the training, and unhappiness becomes automatic even in moments of success. When you realize this, you stop chasing happiness in external rewards. You begin cultivating it within yourself. And once happiness is internalized, it flows into your work, your relationships, and your pursuit of success. It becomes the energy that carries you forward when others are ready to quit. Inner training does not eliminate difficulty. Life will still test you, but it ensures that no difficulty has the power to steal your peace or destroy your spirit. That is the true power of training yourself to be happy while you work for success. One of the greatest lies society has taught us is that misery is the price of achievement. We are told that to succeed we must give up joy, endure endless stress, and delay every moment of peace until the dream is achieved. This belief has trapped countless people in a cycle of unnecessary suffering, convincing them that unhappiness is a badge of honor and struggle without fulfillment is proof of ambition. But this is a myth, and one of the most destructive myths of all. True success does not demand the destruction of happiness. On the contrary, it flourishes when happiness is present. Misery weakens the mind, drains the spirit, and steals creativity. It makes effort heavier and results slower. Joy, on the other hand, sharpens focus, increases energy, and builds resilience. The one who works with joy may endure the same hours, face the same challenges, and walk the same path. But they will walk with strength instead of exhaustion, with clarity instead of chaos, and with fulfillment instead of regret. Sacrifice is often misunderstood. Yes, success requires giving up certain comforts, distractions, and temporary pleasures, but it should never require the sacrifice of inner peace, gratitude, and happiness. Those are not luxuries. They are necessities. Without them, no achievement will ever feel complete. Without them, success becomes an empty victory. Look closely at those who burn themselves out chasing a goal without joy. They may achieve results, but the cost is too high. They lose health, relationships, or their sense of self. They reach the finish line only to realize they have no strength left to enjoy the reward. What good is success if it comes at the expense of the very happiness it was meant to bring? Breaking this myth requires a shift in perspective. Instead of asking, "What must I sacrifice to succeed?" begin asking, "How can I succeed while remaining fulfilled, grateful, and happy along the way?" This question changes everything. It opens the possibility that joy is not the enemy of ambition, but its greatest ally. Remember this truth: success that destroys happiness is not true success. It is simply achievement without fulfillment. And achievement without fulfillment is nothing more than another form of failure. The real goal is to align progress with joy, discipline with gratitude, effort with peace. That is the kind of success worth chasing. There is a direct connection between happiness and performance. Modern studies in psychology, neuroscience, and human behavior confirm what wisdom has always suggested. A happy mind is a sharper mind, a focused mind, a more creative mind. When you feel joy, your brain releases chemicals that improve memory, boost problem-solving ability, and increase energy. Happiness is not just an emotional state. It is a biological advantage. Think about what happens when you work in stress and frustration. Your body tenses, your mind narrows, and you spend most of your energy fighting negative emotions rather than applying it to the task at hand. Stress clouds judgment, reduces patience, and makes you more prone to mistakes. Even if you push yourself harder, your output suffers. Effort without joy is heavy, slow, and often unproductive. Now compare that to working in a state of happiness. You feel lighter, more energized, and more engaged. Problems that once looked overwhelming suddenly appear solvable. Creative solutions come faster. You move through challenges with resilience instead of resistance. The same hours of work produce greater results, not because the work is easier, but because your mind is empowered by the state you are in. This is why training yourself to be happy while working for success is not just motivational talk. It is a practical performance strategy. Happiness strengthens discipline because it makes routines less of a punishment. It strengthens persistence because it prevents burnout. Strengthens relationships because positivity draws cooperation and support. In every measurable way, happiness enhances success. But here is the key. Happiness must be cultivated, not waited for. Too many people wait for results before allowing themselves to feel joy. That is like waiting for perfect weather before deciding to breathe. Joy must become your daily practice, built into your work, your mindset, and your habits. Gratitude for small progress, celebration of small victories, and perspective in the face of setbacks. These are not optional extras, they are essential tools. Understand this: happiness is not a distraction from productivity. Happiness is productivity at its highest potential. When you align your emotions with your ambition, when you merge joy with discipline, you discover a level of performance most people will never touch. That is the science, and that is the truth. Happiness does not appear by accident. It is the result of intentional habits, practiced consistently until they become part of who you are. Just as you cannot build physical strength by going to the gym once, you cannot build lasting happiness by waiting for occasional good moments. It must be cultivated deliberately every single day through choices that strengthen the mind and protect the spirit. The first habit is gratitude. Gratitude shifts focus from what is missing to what is present, from scarcity to abundance, from dissatisfaction to appreciation. Begin and end each day by acknowledging what you already have, what you have already achieved, and the opportunities still in front of you. Gratitude transforms struggle into progress and setbacks into lessons. It keeps the heart full, even when the path is challenging. The second habit is perspective. Challenges can either feel like barriers or stepping stones. The difference lies in how you choose to view them. Training your mind to see obstacles as part of growth protects you from despair and fuels resilience. When you adopt the perspective that every difficulty carries a hidden lesson, you cannot lose, because even in failure, you gain strength and wisdom. The third habit is presence. Too many people destroy their happiness by living only in the future, constantly chasing someday. They miss the small joys of the present moment because they are obsessed with the final destination. Practicing presence means finding joy in today, in the small steps, in the act of working itself. It means realizing that life is not lived only at the peak, but in every step of the climb. The fourth habit is self-care. Success without health is collapse waiting to happen. A clear mind, a rested body, and a balanced lifestyle are not luxuries. They are necessities for high performance. Daily rest, exercise, reflection, and connection with what nourishes you must become non-negotiable. Neglecting them is not strength, it is self-sabotage. The fifth habit is affirming thoughts. What you say to yourself becomes your reality. If your inner dialogue is filled with doubt, criticism, and negativity, your happiness will always be out of reach. But when you train yourself to speak with confidence, encouragement, and belief, you create an inner environment where joy can thrive. Your words shape your emotions, and your emotions shape your actions. When practiced together, these habits create an unshakable foundation of happiness. They ensure that no matter where you are on the journey of success, you remain fulfilled and energized. They turn happiness from something temporary into something permanent, from something fragile into something powerful. Happiness, then, is not a reward, it is a discipline. And when you make it a discipline, it becomes impossible to lose, no matter how long the journey takes. Happiness is not only personal, it is contagious. The state you cultivate within yourself radiates outward, shaping the environment around you, influencing the people you interact with, and creating opportunities that might otherwise never exist. When you train yourself to be happy while working for success, you are not just transforming your own journey. You are impacting everyone connected to it. Think of how people respond to energy. No one is drawn to bitterness, stress, or negativity. Those states repel cooperation, creativity, and trust. On the other hand, people are naturally attracted to enthusiasm, optimism, and joy. A person who carries happiness into their work, inspires others, earns loyalty, and becomes a leader not by title but by influence. Happiness builds bridges where stress builds walls. This ripple effect extends into productivity and results. Teams perform better under positive leadership. Partnerships grow stronger when founded on encouragement rather than criticism. Even opportunities seem to multiply because happiness creates a magnetic presence that opens doors. Success is rarely a solo journey, and those who radiate joy find allies along the way, while those who radiate misery often find themselves isolated. The ripple also affects the quality of life beyond work. Relationships at home grow stronger when happiness is carried from the workplace into personal interactions. Health improves when the body is not constantly under the weight of stress hormones. Decisions improve when the mind is not clouded by negativity. In every direction, happiness amplifies not just success, but life itself. And here lies an important truth. When you train yourself to be happy while striving for success, your victories extend beyond yourself. Your joy becomes a gift to others. Your presence becomes a source of strength. You show people that success and happiness are not enemies but allies, that it is possible to chase ambition without losing fulfillment. This is why happiness must never be treated as secondary. It is not only about you. It is about the influence you create, the environment you shape, and the legacy you leave. A truly successful life is not measured only by what you achieve, but by the joy you spread along the way. Would you like me to finish with Section 8, Call to Action Now? You said, Section 8, ChatGPT said. Here's the final section, Section 8, Call to Action of your speech script on Train Yourself to be Happy while you work for success. Section 8. Call to action now. The choice is in front of you. You can continue living the way most people do, postponing happiness, waiting for some distant future to grant you permission to feel fulfilled, dragging yourself through life in the hope that success will finally set you free. Or you can choose a different path. You can choose to train your mind, discipline your emotions, and cultivate happiness here and now while you pursue your goals. Ask yourself, what kind of life do you want to live? A life where happiness is delayed until tomorrow, or a life where joy fuels your progress today? A life where success feels like an exhausting chase, or a life where success becomes a natural extension of your daily fulfillment? The truth is, you already have everything you need to begin. You can start small by practicing gratitude each morning, by choosing perspective in moments of difficulty, by speaking to yourself with belief instead of doubt, by creating habits that protect your peace. With each choice, you strengthen the muscle of happiness. With each step, you prove to yourself that joy is not a destination, it is a discipline. So stop waiting, stop postponing, stop believing the lie that misery is required for achievement. Decide that your work will be filled with meaning. Decide that your journey will be fueled by joy. Decide that success and happiness will walk hand in hand in your life. This is your responsibility, your opportunity, and your power. Train yourself to be happy while you work for success, and you will discover that the journey itself is already a reward. Success will not only arrive, it will arrive